Welcome back to another episode of Fort Wayne Footy. And I don't know if you have heard this or not yet, but Fort Wayne FC is three-time division winners in USL2, the Valley Division. Congratulations to Fort Wayne FC. It was an exciting match last night. They sealed the deal in a powerful way. And if you missed it, the last 6 minutes of the match was worth double the price of admission. It was an incredible finish to an incredible season. And now Fort Wayne FC is looking towards the playoffs this next weekend in Flint, Michigan, which we'll talk a little bit about later on. We've got a great show tonight. We've got Alsadiq Hasan from the team on to join us here in a few minutes. We have Jared White, who is from FW22, who's been sponsoring us so far all this season. Coming on a little bit later in the episode to share a little bit about what they do and just talk about his involvement in soccer in the area. So we're excited about that. And guys, if you remember this, tomorrow morning, do you know what happens, Dustin? Tomorrow morning, season tickets go on sale for next season for Fort Wayne FC. We're excited about all of this. Going to be a great show. My name's Brian, host of the show, here with Dustin. That's the voice you heard. And Micah, as always. Autumn was unable to join us tonight. So let's bring in our co-host, Dustin, man. How you doing?
Dude, I'm doing great. We had a great time at the game last night. It was a beautiful finish for the season. So I'm excited to kind of break it down. I'm excited about our guest tonight. Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch that match. We got to be in the box again, which is pretty cool. Watching just behind Briscoe in the goal, and we saw those 3 goals go in one after another, which was beautiful.
Right in front of us.
In front of us, directly in front of us. That's right. Micah, welcome back, man. How you doing?
I'm great. Unfortunately, we didn't see a Thiago bicycle kick. I wanted so badly last night just to yell up, just to try to get his attention, be like, dude, bike it, just go, have at it. But I reserved myself a little bit. I didn't want to distract them, but wanted so badly to see that bike.
I did sort of yell it at one point, and I did express my disappointment after the match to him that we were there, we were hoping to see it, and he missed his opportunity. He goes, I was thinking about it.
So, that's what I wanted to ask him. I wanted to ask him if it was on his mind, if he was looking for it. I know I would have been looking for it, right?
Yeah.
So
we did say it though. We said it maybe not as loud as he could hear us, but we all 4 of us at one point said bike, but we just didn't yell it.
I mean, I said it a little bit louder than that, but when you're on the field, you don't hear it.
Right.
You don't hear individual voices when you're out there. I get it. So Micah should have just yelled a little bit louder. So anyway, hey, we got a question coming in the chat here before we get too far. What happened to the ball in the VIP box? Do you remember that ball that came?
It was a rocket.
So Andy, just to answer your question, it hit the back wall. There was the aluminum, whatever on there. So it hit that. It was really loud. I think if it had hit the glass, it probably would have shattered it, but it just went beside the glass. Mm-hmm. And thankfully didn't hit any little kids or anyone in that box, because that was a rocket that came through there. Christina, I see your comment, and it was a night we couldn't pass up. Real fans sit in the supporters group, not the cushy suites. I'm telling you, it was an opportunity that we could not pass up. So it was fun to watch y'all from where we were, enjoying the chant from where we were, and just enjoy. We did notice you've got some new instruments out there in the supporters group. We saw a saxophone and a trumpet, and so we were enjoying the music. So well done there, Three Rivers Regiment. For all you're doing over there. Hey, before we get too far into the match and bring in our guests here, we do want to thank our sponsor, FW22. Let me get that up here on the screen for you. They're a 501c3 nonprofit organized to facilitate community involvement in the support and assistance of veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder and traumatic brain injury, and educating on suicide prevention and mental illness. We'll actually hear more about that later in the show when Jared joins us. In our second sponsor here, Omnisource. So we thank you, Omnisource, for your sponsorship of Fort Wayne Footy and FW22. Appreciate all you do to support us and allow us to support the team and support soccer and celebrate and elevate the game here in our town. If you're interested in sponsoring and supporting Fort Wayne Footy, send us a note to info@fortwaynefooty.com. Comment here in the chat, leave us a note on Facebook or on YouTube, and we would love to get back with you with some information on what that could look like to support what we're doing and how we can help get your name out there to the soccer fans and the soccer community here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Guys, I want to revisit, before we bring our guest on tonight, I want to revisit our preseason predictions.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I don't know if you even remembered these. I put them in our rundown. I had to actually go back and listen to our first episode and the beginning of our second episode to get our preseason predictions here. Micah, 12-1-0, right? Is what you went with. The 13-game season. The friendly.
Little confusion start of season, right?
Hey, that's all right. 12-1-0. Dustin, 10-1-1, and Autumn was with you at 10-1-1. I'm the eternal optimist, but I went a little pessimistic on this one because I thought this is a tough division. I want 7-2-3, and Fort Wayne FC ended with 9 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses. Pretty freak losses there in the middle of the season. Yeah. Had a great season, moving on, going to the playoffs. We're excited to just follow this team as deep as they can go in this playoff run. Here to talk about that, the playoff run, and a little bit more about the team is Alsadiq Hasan. I'm going to bring him on here. Welcome him to Fort Wayne Footy. How you doing, man?
Good. How about you guys?
Good.
We're doing well tonight. Always good to have. We've had a lot of players on this season. It's been a lot of fun to just kind of hear stories, right, and hear about the team and some of the inside stuff that goes on. But I want to start with you a little bit and your story, right? So if people have been following the team, or just it's a name that you can't miss because it's been in the news. Your name's been in the news here recently. 21 Alive's done a piece on you. Fort Wayne FC, Justin has written a piece on you, and a little bit of your background and how you got to the States and all that. So you've had a lot of life experience that most of us have not had. And so I just want to give you an opportunity, like 60 seconds or so, like a minute, like tell us a little bit about your background, your story, and how you got to where you are right now. And then we'll dig deeper into some of that, the later part of your career here.
Sounds good. So I'm born in Baghdad, Iraq, around 6 years old or so when the war got really hard in Iraq. We moved over to Syria. My family went over to Syria. We went there as refugees. It was safe there. It was very nice for around 2 years or so. Then the war started there as well in Syria. And we were in the process through the UN to find a long-lasting, safe home for me and my family. And that process took around 5 or 6 years. In 2014, we got the opportunity to come to the United States and straight to St. Louis. And that's really where the journey started, playing for St. Louis Scott Gallagher. From there, I went on to play college, and from college, went to play in USL 1. Now free agent, and now I'm here in Fort Wayne.
Yeah, well, we're glad to have you here in Fort Wayne.
Thank you.
Been a force there on the left side of the field, and even as you slot into the middles, we talked about a little bit pre-show. Like, it's been fun to have you there. So you've been with, as you mentioned, you played in St. Louis with Scott Gallagher SC, Quincy University, SIU Edwardsville, which is a team I played against when I went to UIndy, and so we played back in the day. This is a long time ago. Then you went from there to Tormentia FC in USL 1. Is that how you pronounce that? Tormentia.
Yeah.
In Georgia, USL 1. And then, as you mentioned, you're here in Fort Wayne for this season. What has that journey been like from Scott Gallagher to the different universities you've played at to USL 1 and then back here in Fort Wayne to USL 2?
Just like I think everyone, the soccer journey is full of ups and downs. And I was always looking forward, just to elevate my game and keep getting better and better. So I was always driven by that. So whenever I went through, harsh moments or tough times, I was just like, yeah, this is part of the game. And this is, when you're a young kid, it's hard to have that mentality. But when you're surrounded by good coaches, and my dad being a former player, he installed that mentality in me, like, this is part of the game. Like, things are going to go up and down, but it's about being disciplined. It's about keep showing up with the right attitude, and the journey. That's how I kind of went on it. Whether I was in college, whether I was in high school or pro, just take it one day at a time. Enjoy every possible moment I can, and just keep getting better and better and better. You can never perfect being a good soccer player. There's always something to chase, always a goal to chase. So that's like, I'm addicted to that feeling, and I just want to keep going and keep getting better every single day I can.
If you would talk to Micah, he would say he predicted the art of being a soccer player, but nah, just kidding. Just want to throw somebody else under the bus here. So if you got questions for Alsadiq, go ahead and put them in the chat. We do have not a question, but Dwayne Broad says, it's been a great addition to the team this year. Your additional leadership skills really helped this team. That's one thing I wanted to ask about. I believe in one of the articles you referenced the fact that you've been a captain in just about every team that you've played on, and your leadership ability really shines through. And even last night we were watching the match, and there was one point that you were I can't remember if you were on the right side or if it was second half, you were coming towards us. And so you were on our right, but you're still playing left back. And you were screaming across the field to somebody. And I went, like, that's the only voice that could be heard in that moment, was your voice trying to send some, instruction, command, guidance to somebody on the far side of the field. So your leadership is definitely recognized from a distance, but being on the field this year and not necessarily being the captain, what is that like to bring your leadership and your experience from where you've played to a team like Fort Wayne that has a great captain in Thiago Diaz, and but still remain a leader out there on the pitch?
I think it stems like me loving to kind of be a leader. I think it's natural. I've never like woke up when they're like, hey, I want to be a leader. Just who I am, and just I try to be myself on the field. And I think it comes from me wanting to win every game, wanting to score as many goals and keep clean sheets. And I feel like I'm kind of obsessed with that mentality that it goes on to make sure everything going perfect from tactical standpoint, from teammates being switched on, stuff like this. So I think I've just we have a great captain, and you can never have too many leaders on the field. The more people that talk and give instructions, the better. The more organized your team is, and it's been good. We have a lot of we obviously have a good captain, but a lot of good leaders as well on the team, and that's a huge part of our success. It's a very underrated kind of skill set. Being a leader, focus on your individual self and focus on your individual role in the team, but also understanding your teammates' role and helping them in that role, because I need help sometimes, and I love when my teammates tell me, hey, tuck in or move a little bit to the left, or any kind of instructions. It's always important, and the more you have it, the better. It's never too much of it. It's one thing that you just want more and more of, for sure.
Yeah, I think just listening to you talk, we've asked some of the other players, like, what advice would you give to younger kids? And I think you're hitting it right there. We're focused on the details. You're trying to do the right things, regardless of whether you get the recognition. But it's those little things sometimes that the young kids miss. So any young player out there that's listening to this, I think you need to replay what Alsadiq just said, because it's right there. It's exactly what we want our youth to focus on.
Yeah. And so you talked a little bit about it, like, to us before we jumped on here, but I mean, we watch you as a left back. Talk to us about the process of you said you weren't always a left back. So how you kind of got into that position. I mean, I think it's kind of funny because when we see you play, we can see you push up. We see the speed that you have. So you dominate at left back, but you can tell that you have a little bit of background in another position. So talk to us about that a little bit.
Starting a left back obviously was my debut season as a pro, so I was excited. You just get on the field, and I started on my debut on a first game of the season at left back, where I've only had maybe 3 or 4 games from preseason at left back, and I was like, sure, I'm ready for the challenge. I never played it, so obviously had a few struggles in the start, but it's about finding the details and just getting better every day and kind of humbling yourself like after a good performance. And I always try not after a good performance. I never want to be like, yeah, I did good. I just like to keep myself in the middle. And when I have a bad performance, okay, get back to the middle. I kind of like to be steady. And I think playing like midfield and playing winger and in my youth career, I think it helps me a lot because I've been on the other side of the pitch, been on the attacking side, and I thought and I've developed how a striker would think. And so I've been in these situations. So now being on the other side of the field where I'm defending most of the game, I kind of see I know what the attacker wants, what space would make it more comfortable, where to push players on their strong foot down the line, because I've been that player. I know how they think. Obviously it depends from player to player. The strength depends, but it has helped me tremendously. And the transition has been kind of smooth because I've thought about the details, and I've been on the field. So
yeah. I think as a follow up to that, Micah talked about advice to young players, and sometimes we get it locked in our heads that this is the position we play and this is the kind of player we're going to be. But sometimes to be on the field, you have to slot over and play a different position because there's too many central midfielders or there's too many wingers or whatever. So to be on the field, you have to humble yourself and maybe learn something different. What would you say to a young player in that position that's like, I'm a striker and that's all I'm going to do and that's all I'm going to play, but coach needs you at, outside mid for a couple of games? What would you say to that young player?
I honestly, I'm a big believer in always listening to coach, even when you don't like it. Always be coachable. Always have a good attitude about it. Even if a coach wants to play you in a position that you've never played before, but a coach knows more than you, and he's a coach for a reason. So we always have to have a humble attitude and a learning attitude towards what he says, and you have to believe. And you go at it with a mentality that he wants the best for me, and it's an honor, it's a pleasure to be on the field, and just take it as that. And you give your all, whether it's 5 minutes or there's 90 minutes. You give your all to the team and to the coach, and that's how you show your respect back to your coach, by giving them your all.
I think you need to come out and talk to my teams. Just saying, I love what you're saying. I love every word you said. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I think too, like I was a goalkeeper, and I always thought like when I'm on the field, I'm going to be a striker because I know how a goalkeeper thinks. And you talked about that, right? Is when I played this position and I've shifted to here, like I know the tendencies of a right winger because I used to play there, right? And I know what foot to play in, which direction to play, when to tuck in, when to attack. And so there's a lot of learning you can do just playing other positions. So when you have to slot over, tendencies and stuff. So I do think that's wise that you shared that. I want to get into, we've got a couple questions here from Sarah in the chat. Halftime on Saturday. So as we get into this week's game, and I want to come back to a little bit more of what we were talking about. We get to this week's game. What was halftime like on Saturday? Was it all excitement or just more keep calm, stay level-headed? Because at that point, I think you guys knew you were advancing. Lexington had drawn, right? They were 1-1, and I think you guys knew at that point we were advancing. Were you celebrating, or we got a game to finish here?
So I at halftime, me and Thiago we sat right next to each other in the locker room. And we discussed, okay, Lexington tied, but we're not going to disclose that with anybody, we'll keep it in between us because we want to go out there and win the game. And after a few minutes, the coaches walked in and they didn't say anything as well. I think they knew already, but they didn't say anything. And it was just about being in control. I think we had already had control of the game in the first half, but it's about being controlled and taking advantage of our chances because we did create a lot of chances. And we were patient whenever we never rushed. We just kept in control, and you could see at the end we got rewarded for it, and right at the end, and that speaks to the volume and the experience that we have on the team. That hey, you stay steady, stay level-headed, never get too high, never get too low, and believe in yourself, believe in your teammates, in the system, and the coaching staff, and at the end, it will pay off, and you'll get what you deserve. And I think it paid off on Saturday.
Yeah. We so kind of switching it up just because I know the people want to know this because they ask this all the time and we've asked every single player. But what is your pregame ritual? And we talked to Ari's mom last night and she called him out a little bit because he didn't tell the truth about his pregame ritual. So just an FYI, it'll get back to us if you don't tell us the truth. But what is your typical, before a game? What do you do? Like,
Mine is simple, honestly. Like the day of the game, honestly, because we don't have anything until around noon where we have a meeting, like the day of game day meeting. So honestly, like the day before, I take a nap the day before, so I can stay in a little bit later, so I can sleep it all the way till 11:50. Wake up, go to the meeting right away.
mhm.
I'll get as much sleep as I can. After that, honestly, if I could take a nap in after the meeting, an hour nap or not, pre-game meal 4 hours before the game.
Mhm.
Once I go to the field, I just do one thing and one thing only.
Mhm.
I do my daily mobility stuff,
Mhm.
foam rolling. I go and visualize myself on the field, maybe like a 2-minute, 3-minute walk,
Mhm.
and that's it. Smile as much as I can, have fun,
Yeah.
and it's always remind myself that it's a blessing to be on the field, and
Yeah.
never stress too much. I'm just like having fun, and I think that helps me get the most out of my game, and that energy kind of spreads around, and it's good for the team as well. So simple.
And if you call your mom, you always call your mom before the game.
I promise you.
Okay, that's okay. I'm just telling you, you might want to say that because that'll get back to us.
That's too funny. So I missed that conversation last night with Ari and his mom. So love to hear more about that at some point. But so you've had quite a career so far, young career even, playing in USL 1. You're here at USL 2. Like, what's something you've learned here in Fort Wayne this season, or a part of your game that you've improved that you'll carry with you, whether it's here or wherever you go in your career? What's something you've learned here in Fort Wayne?
I think the most important thing that is, I think every player knows it, but not every player dials down on it. And I keep hearing this from the coaching staff, especially from Coach Mike and Coach Keelan, is that expressing yourself and in the right time and in the right areas. Obviously, I'm a player that likes to carry the ball and I like to dribble, but I'm not doing it when we're building out the back. I'm waiting for the right moments. So I'm expressing myself, but choosing the right moment to do that when I can help the team and not be selfishly just trying to express myself and losing the ball and causing turnovers. So it's that for me, honestly. It's something that's keep circulating in training, keep circulating in our team chats, and just it's that, honestly. Like, obviously we talk about a lot of things, but this kind of stood out to me, and it's been on my mind, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, that's good. I got a couple questions in the chat here I want to throw up here. Christina asks, what's your favorite soccer moment and why? Is it hoisting a giant tinfoil trophy to celebrate winning the Valley Division with Fort Wayne FC?
I loved it. It's honestly, I'm always about enjoying the moment, not thinking of the past. And right now, it is my favorite soccer memory. And it was a great night and celebrating with you guys and being on the field. And this is I must say, the most beautiful trophy, creative trophy I've ever lifted and been a part of. And I'm blessed for it. Hopefully more to come. Hopefully you guys will see another trophy in 5 games or so.
Yeah.
Let's hope so. Scott has another question here. Most surprising thing about coming to Fort Wayne?
That's soccer culture. To be honest, I'm from St. Louis, and we have a huge soccer culture there. And you don't think of Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne doesn't strike me as big. I've had teammates like Seth Entui played here, and he's a very close friend of mine. And when he played here, I remember seeing on his socials like the fans and stuff. But you never realize how big it is here and how much the fans care and the city cares for this team until I got here and I saw the turnout at the games and the amount of kids that want autographs and pictures and the fans that were really not only fans, but they care about how well the team does and how well we play and who scores and who assists. And I love that. And that's the biggest pleasant surprise for me since I've been here, honestly.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I know you guys have playoffs coming up. Does anything change with your team routine throughout the week between now and then? Or you guys stay in the course, staying steady and ready for whoever you play whenever you find out on Friday?
We're keeping it normal, go back to training tomorrow morning, same routine. Obviously, we adjust from team to team how we play tactically, stuff like that. And that's where I think our coaching staff do an amazing job at, and we're prepared for every game. So we just take it one day at a time, and we're ready for whatever comes our way. I know the playoff brackets come up soon, but honestly, I don't not paying much attention to it. I'm waiting for the coaches to let us know Friday what time the bus leaves, and we're ready.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, best of luck there in Flint, Michigan. I think you guys are headed up that direction. And speaking of whatever comes your way, I was fed a couple of photos from someone within Fort Wayne FC that I just want to throw up on the screen just to, a little bit of who you are, right? We've got some child photos. You looked a little nervous there. This maybe not what you expected. Just some childhood photos of you with the soccer ball playing back in the day. So appreciate those. I was asked to ask you one more question, and that's, what's your favorite song to sing at a team party?
I think you guys might have seen a little preview of my singing. But I will survive. I don't know how it came up. I don't know how. I think my vocals are not there, but I think I sing with a lot of passion. I think that what counts at the end of the day.
Yeah, passion is that's more important than being on tune. 100%.
I like that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, Alsadiq, best of luck to you and the team this weekend up in Flint, Michigan, and best of luck to you as a player, whatever next season holds for you here in Fort Wayne or somewhere else. We've enjoyed watching you play and wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for all your support and all you guys do. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
All right.
Sure.
Thanks for being here, Alsadiq.
Yep.
All right. Always, it's good to get some insider information, for some of these interviews, some photos and things just like that. So I won't throw anybody under the bus that sent those to me, but I know Alsadiq will probably know who that is. So fantastic, good energy, good player, a lot of fun. Guys, let's talk about the game last night. We've already hinted at it. Fort Wayne comes away with the 4-0 victory over Kings Hammer Cincinnati. 3 of those goals were back to back there at the end of the game. They had control at halftime. It was 1-0 at halftime going in. We thought it might have been 2, right? We got a double header off a corner kick, I believe it was at the end, and one of them was called offside, so it didn't count, right? But Fort Wayne controlled the ball, controlled the game last night. We were watching from behind the goal, as some of our fans in the chat here were referencing. It was called us out, but it was an opportunity to sit in the box where we sat with Mark and the team there. It was great. So from this perspective, though, we talked about this last time, sitting there from behind the goal. We were directly behind the goal. Impressions of the game, impressions of the team. You could see movement a little differently. You could see guys making runs a little differently. What did you guys see last night from that perspective?
I saw Kings Hammer try to press them high, but we had no problem breaking that, building out of the back, playing out of the, into the sixes, into the wide players. Possession was there. I feel like we just bossed the match from very first whistle, kept control, even with it being 1-0. Could have been, it was 1-0 for 85 minutes, 86 minutes. But I never really felt as if Kings Hammer was really in the game. And I think just scoring those 3 goals in the final, 4 or 5 minutes just shows the consistency that it's what Alsadiq says. It's just, you stay even, keep doing the right things, and then good things will come.
Yeah, I felt the exact same way. I felt like the beginning of the game, it kind of felt a little even for probably maybe the first 5-10 minutes. And then we just completely took control of the game from there. We talked a little bit beforehand about how we were beginning of the second half team for the first 5-6 games of the season. And
Yeah, a
then,
lot of goals scored in the first 5
yeah,
minutes of the second half early in the season.
yeah. But we have over the last couple games become a last 5 minutes of the game team, and getting those goals and scoring at the end. I want to shout out Gerber for coming in and just like completely blowing our minds right in front of us for that last play of the game. We kind of wanted to see him. We wanted to see what he could do. Dude's 9 foot tall. When he was standing down there on the field, he's huge. But that when we heard the ref yell, "This is the last play of the game," I think I looked over at Autumn, which somebody asked, "Did we fire Autumn?" Absolutely not. We would never do that. She's a huge she's such a huge part of this. I looked over to Autumn and I was like, "Gerbers is going to get this," and then that's what happened. So it was beautiful to watch. It just was, honestly, overall, it was a beautifully played game. I felt like specifically in that second half, it just like they were playing with such confidence on the ball. It was really fun to watch.
Yeah, I would love
Yeah.
to be in the locker room at halftime to hear the direction that Coach Avery is giving the boys for the second half, because we see the results come at halftime. Either they're scoring goals or they're scoring delayed goals. So I would love to hear, what direction, what that communication looks like. 'Cause there's something happening that, we might not see it from a fan standpoint.
Well, and to be fair, like there were subs that came in at halftime, and so it speaks to the depth of this team too, right? They were ahead at halftime. Subs come in, had subbed some more late, right, in the game, and it just speaks to the fact that the patience of this team, at least that we've seen this season, the patience of this team, the willingness to stick to a game plan. And to shift and make the adjustments that they need to make at halftime if things aren't going well, which they haven't had many of those yet this season anyway. But they have made adjustments early on. Again, they scored some goals quickly in the first half, but scoring goals at the end of a game, like sometimes that happens when a team is down, right? And they're just throwing everything they have forward, and they're getting chance after chance after chance to a team that's controlled against the team that's controlled the whole game, but they're playing on tired legs now. So the team that's behind just keeps going and going and going. What we've seen is Fort Wayne FC just wear a team down, just patience with the ball, moving the ball side to side, long balls over the top, every which way, wearing a team down so that it's late in the game. They're up a goal and they're still pounding at the net, right? And again, we saw a goal go in the 86th minute of the game. We're celebrating. All right, that's it. That's the dagger. Game over. And then I'll tell you what, I went up to get a few chips, right? And I turned around, and it was the strangest feeling.
It should be a theme. It's a theme. It's a theme, Brian.
It's a live game happening in front of me. And the same thing that I just watched happened the second time. And I went, is that no, it's not a replay. It's a live game. That's crazy. That's a third goal that just went in. And then you mentioned the one that Gerber went up, got a great head on it, but you could hear it from there. And it sounded like he just got slapped in the face, right? Like that ball was hit hard coming across the middle, and he got his head on it just where he needed to go, put it right in the back of the net. And as you mentioned, I'm glad you said that. You could hear the ref say, last play of the game, everybody, last play of the game. And of course it wasn't, because they had to kick off to finish the game. But it's just an incredible finish. A team that has played well, played patiently all season. Any just overall impressions of any particular players or any particular impressions of the team overall this season before we get into the playoffs? What surprised you? What did you love seeing out of this team this season?
Yeah, I like the consistency that I've seen out of the back, and Alsadiq mentioned that as well, where it's like those are from Tiago to Spro, like those are battlers. Like they love to battle, they love to make the contact, love to tackle, but then they command the game from there, and you see the communication going into the midfield. So how they built the team. They built from the back. They have a strong middle. And it's just been consistent from the very first time that I had a chance to watch them, way back. It seems like a lifetime ago at this point, but, back in June or end of May or whatever it was, like it's just they've been so consistent. So that back line has been phenomenal.
Yeah. And it's been really cool to see too, like some of the guys that maybe weren't starters at the beginning of the season that have moved into starters. Some of the guys that we've seen that have started to just like make a name for themselves. I mean, Gerber, 19-year-old, comes in, signed halfway through the season,
a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Comes in and he's got 2 goals already for the team as a back, and then Alsadiq is honestly, like, I know he was just on, but he's blown me away with just how fast he is, how he gets up top and then he gets back quick and he defends really, really well. I think there's people that really frustrate other teams. I think Oliveira frustrates other teams. He's just all over the place. Like he's there and he's got great foot skills.
Yeah.
I think across the board, all the guys that play on the team have just really impressed me with how they play together and how they have the individual skill as well. It's like you watch this team and you can just see cohesion, and that's awesome to see.
Yeah, when we had Coach Avery, he talked about how much recruiting he did and finding the right type of player. You listen to Alsadiq talk and how much of a teammate he is. Like, I would love to have someone like him on my team, and I'm sure the rest of the guys feel the same way. But it's a similar personality, right? So I think they did a really good job creating just that team atmosphere with this group.
Yeah. The one I wanted to shout out that's really I've had my eye on just watching the season, the way he makes plays is Nishimura. Like we've talked about a lot of the other guys this season, but the way he, like his vision on the field, his quickness in the midfield and set piece play, I think off a couple corner kicks early in the season. He's just been fun to watch. I messaged him the other day just to tell him that, like, just again, his vision, the way he slots balls through. And there's a lot of guys, like we could we could name almost everybody on this team, right? That has impressed us at some way, at some level, in some game. But I do think it speaks to, as you mentioned, the way Coach Avery is recruited, the way the guys have come in. But Micah, I think you hit the nail on the head there with the idea that these guys have come in, seemingly everybody that we've talked to has come in talking about team first, right? They all have aspirations, right? Whether it's to move on to USL 1 with this team, whether it's to move on to USL Championship or play somewhere else, Major League Soccer or play in Europe, like whatever their aspirations are, they're team first. And they're right now, this is who my team is and this is who I'm playing with. And we've got a job to do. And they understand that, where I go is partially dependent on how my team around me does. And so it seems that they all have an eye out for the people around them and to make not only themselves better, but to make the people around them better. So those are always fun teams to watch. I don't know that we'll always have that team to watch. I don't know. We've seen cycles of this in other teams that I follow, right? Where this has been the case for a season and the next season things crumble and you're like, what just happened? But we have the right people in the right places. And I anticipate this success, at least following them to the next level. If not, at least through the playoffs this weekend, which we'll talk more about here in a few minutes. We do want to bring on our second guest here, Jared White from FW22, who's been sponsoring the show, helped us get this thing kicked off and get this thing started this season. And Dustin, I'm going to hand it over to you just to kind of navigate this part of the interview, and Mike and I will jump in when we got questions.
Yeah.
All right, let's welcome Jared White to the stage here. Jared, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, buddy? How are you?
You're in your natural element.
I am. This is where I'm always. This is home.
Yeah. So obviously, Jared, we've gotten to know each other pretty well over the last year or so, and working together and doing some stuff. Tell us and tell the people that are listening a little bit about why you do what you do with FW22. We've talked about what your organization is, but talk to us about like your passion and your heart behind why you do this.
Yeah. So again, I appreciate you guys for even having me on. It is way past my bedtime. I'm so tired. It's been a long week. But no, it was real simple. I love the Marine Corps. I love our military. I love our country. And I'm a firm believer that almost everybody should get afforded an opportunity to serve at some capacity, even if it's not on a military level, just serving your community. It's such a beautiful thing. But the thing that was really hard is, my best friend and I, when we started this, I am a combat vet. He is not a combat vet. And we both had close friends of ours lose the fight to mental health. And that just never really resonated with me well. To me, it's really hard. How do you survive war? And you come home and there's that war in your head. And I just think it's probably because of the military. I have that need to serve. I want to serve, whether it was police, firefighter, I love serving. I love being a servant to my community. I love being a pillar of hope. And it's so unfortunate that you go and you do that and you come home and you're all alone and you feel like you have no other options. There's 8 billion people in this world, yet oftentimes when someone's fighting depression or what have you, they feel all alone. And so I just really wanted to use my platform that we've really grown over the last 11 years to just spread love and joy and hope and just be good humans, because at the end of the day, that's all we have is each other. So
yeah. No, and I love what you do. We appreciate what you do. Talk to us. And so this is a soccer podcast. Talk to us a little bit about your background, soccer, how you grew up, that kind of thing. What got you? What made you want to be a part of this show?
Well, I'll be honest. This was the quickest decision I've ever made. I really didn't even give my board a chance. I played soccer my whole life. Myself and my sisters did. It's always been our sport. I love it. I grew up with so many of Fort Wayne is such a huge soccer community, just like it is a huge military community. And, I've lived all over the world. There's not a lot of places like Fort Wayne in my mind when it came to soccer. And we never had a pro team, which to me is wild. I know, whether I played for, Select or Citadel and then Fever. And then we even had our own pro Fever team back in the day. I went off to the Marine Corps. And a lot of my buddies played. I used to ride in a car with DeMarcus Beasley back in the day, him and Jamar, and Alan Bodenstein used to throw chairs at me on the soccer field, and Bobby Porcedinas. And so it was just a really surreal thing when I heard about this FC team over at Bishop Dwenger Stadium. And obviously, they definitely didn't recognize me. I've dropped some pounds, but I remember when 3 years ago I went, I'm just walking and I'm trying to get my kid to come who is just not about soccer, and I'm recognizing all these people, and none of them know me. They don't know Jared since he disappeared and went off to war. And they're like, little Jared with long blonde hair. And I'm like, yeah, tatted. And I'm, a couple sizes bigger now. It's me. And I was really pumped. I think what Coach Avery, his vision to me is just wild. And I just loved, I don't know, it was the same feeling I got growing up as a kid, going to I don't even know if the Beasley mini camps were a thing yet. I think it was back in the day. It was Bobby Porcedinas, or all through high school, he'd made me volunteer for free Snicker bars or a pair of cleats, and we'd ref all the games at St. Joe Field. But I just had that same feeling again, like I did when I was a kid. Just what a great atmosphere. And then they left Bishop Dwenger and they went on to St. Francis, and when we would do our international night, and it's just, to me, it's going to only continue to grow. There's just not an environment like that in all the sports we do here. Soccer people, they're nutty, they're wild. But I will say the one thing I love about soccer, and to all you non-soccer people, I'm sorry, but we really are an international sport. I mean, I remember 2 years ago, I was at the international game. The team came from Mexico. I had no idea what the guy to the left of me said, but we were chugging beers together. Of course we won because we're an amazing team, but it was just such a good environment of humans just having fun and cheering on our teams. And what was it, the Chivas maybe?
Chivas, yep.
Yeah, it could have been them. I just know there's just nothing like it. And my sister played college soccer. Obviously, I went off to the Marine Corps, but she now brings her boys. Yeah. And I just couldn't be more excited for the future. Tomorrow's my birthday, and I can't think of a better way to celebrate it than tickets being only for $25 to reserve for the new stadium. So I cannot wait for that. Unfortunately, though, I didn't go to a single game this year. The 4 games I attempted, I had to go do my job. Even on military night, I passed out 30 tickets. Everyone was waiting for me, and I'm like, I'm at an intervention. I'm so sorry, but I'm really proud of the team, and hopefully I can maybe see a home game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jared, tell us, I know we've been reading what you sent us, the description of FW22, but what is it a little bit more specifically that you guys do? I know you help combat vets and those suffering PTSD and mental illness and things, but what is it when you get down to really what you do? What is it that Fort Wayne FW22 does?
Yeah. So I work hand in hand with our problem solving courts. So I do a lot of work with our veteran and our mental health courts here, working with the vets that are just not in a good place. And then I'm an instructor over at our jails. So just really working, I call them the forgotten, because once you are incarcerated after a certain amount of days, you're technically not a veteran until you get released. So I really work hard at navigating that, because mentally they're just not in a good place. My partners are over. I have two main partners. It's Allendale and Remedy Live, which I think the FC team, they were just in our studio where we shoot our podcast, shooting awesome kit promos. But we're really big into the addiction and mental health. It's a lot more common than what people realize. Sometimes, when you hear somebody that uses an illicit substance, we're kind of like, ooh, that person has issues. But then when you get to talking, everybody knows somebody. And what no one talks about is, the pain that these families are going through, not just the veteran or the active duty troop, but the families. It's a really dark place. So I'm really big on, we go to your house, we do these interventions. Sometimes it takes 12 hours. Sometimes it takes an hour, just depends on what substance they're on or how much they're on. But we're really trying to get them into treatment. And we're really big on just letting you know it's okay to not be okay. And then we're state mandated, so we train all the active duty bases with our suicide prevention. Just really letting these kids, as I call them, these 18 to 24-year-olds, know that the way we do our trainings, it's all anonymous polling. So these kids or these service members, they're answering all the questions that we talk to them about from their phones, and it's all anonymous. And so as we're on stage in the background, the data is updating. Which protects them from the higher ups, figuring out who's making them look bad. But the numbers have been really alarming. I don't know if it's from social media. I don't know why, but I know one of the boards that I serve on here in Allen County is our Allen County suicide board, and our suicides are double this time than they were last year. But 28% of them are veterans. And Allen County currently has just over 22,000 veterans. So we're just really big on showing you alternate solutions. It doesn't matter how big or small your problem is. I promise you we will find a solution that brings you peace and comfort and helps your family out. It's not going to be an easy road, but I will personally do it alongside with you. And so I love the way I look. I'm pretty professional, so I'm a guest on your show, but I'm tatted and I chew and I cuss and I'm very blunt. And I always tell people, not everyone's going to love me, but I will always love them. And I just love looking the way I do, and then being able to sit down with a complete stranger and saying, I love you. How are you doing? How can I help? Because at the end of the day, mental health affects everybody. But it's really hard to be vulnerable in today's society. And that's our main focus, is just a bunch of beat up veterans with tattoos and missing limbs, letting you know that it's okay. Let's struggle together and let's figure this out. And that's why I commend what you do, Dustin. I was just talking to somebody at the air show yesterday, and I guess he's been following me on Facebook, and he's all about your men's mental health nights. And we talked for like 30 minutes, and I was like, yeah, Dustin is a wild one. I'm so blessed to have him. But the fact that you do that, because he talked, he's like, I'm a man. How do I ask for help? And I'm like, yeah, I get it, dude. So it's just really big. And then, like I said, to be a sponsor for you guys was a no-brainer, because anything that I can do to support Fort Wayne FC, Fort Wayne footy, just our local soccer, that we're all about that. And exercise and soccer, it involves community engagement. It helps you with mental health. So I just couldn't have thought of a better thing to support, and you'll always have our support. So
No.
Yeah.
And we appreciate what you do, like beyond what we could ever put into words for sure. And your sponsorship of this.
Yeah, I'm
for
trying
sure.
so hard to keep it PG and like not get
I-
graphic, but it's awesome stuff we do. Okay.
Yeah. No.
That's why at
Well-
10 o'clock at night I'm in my car because I was just canvassing Harley Davidson for our upcoming event, and my anxiety's through the roof. I'm like, where's this gonna go, and where are we gonna put this? And
Yeah. Well, Jared, we do appreciate what you do at FW22. And now as we talk about it each week and our listeners hear about it each week, we know we've got a face to put with it. If people are interested in getting involved with what you do, where can they go? Where can they find you?
they can either harass Dustin. He has all my personal info. You can be if you're on Facebook, just FW22 or FW22.org. It'll put all of you in touch with us. And like I said, I'd love to get you guys out at some of our events. I do know we have a sweet hot dog eating contest coming up in August, and
Brian?
volleyball and
Micah's favorite.
I'm telling you, it's going to be a wild time. But I definitely look forward to our partnership, and I do want to actually meet you guys in person eventually, and just see whatever I can do to help grow your guys' mission, your podcast, and show you some of the cool stuff that we do. So I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Jared, thanks, man. Appreciate you being on the show. You're a hard man to track down and get away from what you do, because I know you love it and you're invested in it so much. But appreciate your support from a distance, but love to sit down and chat with you in person sometimes. So thanks for being on, and thanks for your support of the show.
Yeah, have a great night, and go FC.
Yeah, get some sleep.
Now you can go to bed.
Yeah, I am definitely going to bed. Thank you so much.
See you, man.
Awesome. Have a good night, man. It's good to get him on finally. I know we've tried a couple times here.
Yeah.
So Dustin, thanks for being that connection and setting us up. They've definitely done some good work helping us get started here. And how about this? Ryan's in the chat, Fort Wayne Footlong, referencing the hot dog eating contest.
Micah,
That's
number
awesome.
one.
That's awesome.
How did my name get thrown in there?
I don't know. Brian said it. I just went off of what Brian said.
Listen, Dustin's he told me he'd fly me to the championship on August 2nd in the playoffs. And Mike is going to do the hot dog eating contest for us. So thank you guys for your support with your own funds of what we do. It's getting late. We're going off the rails a little bit, guys. So Scott is in the chat. I think this is in reference to me earlier saying we're, follow teams that have team first and teams that like crumble, whatever. And he's throwing a jab here. If you followed Columbus, it wouldn't be as bad. If you've listened to the show, you maybe know what that's a reference to. I don't need to talk about it because it makes me really sad today. We talked a little bit earlier, playoffs, Flint, Michigan, Friday night or Friday at some point. Fort Wayne FC is going to play somebody. If you're interested in knowing more about the playoffs, the playoff structure, Dustin and I actually recorded an interview with Josh Patterson from the Journal Gazette a little bit earlier tonight that will air tomorrow. So if you're interested in hearing a little bit about the playoff structure in USL 2, which is pretty wild, it's pretty crazy. There's 35 teams going to the playoffs, which is more than many leagues around the world have at all. And 35 of these teams are going to the playoffs. So it'll be interesting it was a great interview. If you're interested in finding out a little bit more about that and what that looks like in Flint, check that out tomorrow. We'll post it on our YouTube channel, and it'll also be posted wherever you listen to your podcast. So speaking of our YouTube channel, I know many of you are watching, many of you catch up on our shows later in the week. If you're not subscribed over there, we just encourage you to do that. It's going to help us actually get out in front of more people if you would subscribe, but it also means that you have not that you won't miss an episode and any other content that we put out. We're going to start putting out these interviews with players and team members and sponsors out as separate videos. We'll clip them and put them out there too if you're interested in those. So check us out there on Facebook. We've got tickets. It looks like tickets are going on sale. Flint posted their tickets versus Steel City it looks like. So check that out. Maybe we already know, and it's all happening in real time now. So we'll have to catch up on that a little bit later. If you're interested in what we do and supporting what we do here at Fort Wayne Footy, like Jared, you send us a note. We mentioned this earlier, info@fortwaynefooty.com. Hit us up on Facebook, here on YouTube. We would love to get in touch with you and hear about what you do and what you want to do to support soccer in this community. We've got a sponsor kit we can send you and your company if you're interested in getting your name out there through our show, through some means that way. We'd love to talk to you more about that. Micah, I want to pitch it to you for this extra time segment. We've got a few minutes left here, and you always come up with some great topics for conversation here as we wrap this up.
Yeah, so I know Fort Wayne FC, we're starting to, the season's winding down, going into the playoffs. But I just want to make a note that there's so much good soccer available, especially coming up as we go into the fall. I know Jared talked about the soccer culture in Fort Wayne. There's nothing like it. Let's not forget that we have some really high level colleges that play here in Fort Wayne. PFW, they're Division I, men's and women's. There's NAIA teams with Indiana Tech, Huntington, St. Francis. Obviously we know where Bishop Darcy Stadium is, right? So it's easy to still see a lot of soccer, and even with the high schools. Again, I am a big proponent of Fort Wayne soccer, that we can compete with the best teams across the state. So get out, support your team, support your local high school, support your kids. There's so much soccer, so much good, high quality soccer in the city.
Yeah, I will say as a follow-up to that, we are a small team here at Fort Wayne Footy. There's 4 of us. One's not on screen right now because we fired Autumn, apparently. No, we did not fire Autumn. We didn't fire Autumn. There's a small team of us. One thing we would like to do, just to put some ideas out there for those of you who are listening and are engaged in the soccer community, is we want to start following our colleges, as Micah said, our high school, local high schools. Many of us are coaches already at those levels, and so it's going to be hard for us to get out. So we'd be interested in entertaining some ideas and some thoughts about getting some folks involved and getting out to some soccer games, doing some interviews on behalf of the show. So if you're interested in any of that, we would love to talk to you. Send us a note here in the chat, info@fortwaynefooty.com, or on Facebook. We'd love to hear from you. Justice for Autumn, we've got here coming out in the chat. Bring back Autumn. We've got Chance from Three Rivers Regiment there in the corner. If you got your trumpeter to play this and you started chanting, we will bring Autumn back. More Autumn, more subscribers. How about that? Autumn, when you watch this later or listen to this later, just know you are loved. We miss you tonight on the show. I know she had other things happening. But I do want to, as we wrap up the show, we definitely want to, not gloss over the fact there's more soccer coming, playoffs this weekend, but even beyond that, as far as Fort Wayne FC goes, 1927 SC just wrapped up their season with the win in Holland this last weekend as well. We've got high schools starting their preseason, colleges starting to get their teams back together. A lot of soccer to go. And that, seriously, if there are those of you who are interested in helping cover some of these teams and some of these games, we would love to talk to you. But I do want to throw up this stat that came our way as Fort Wayne FC wraps up. It's the end of an era in USL2, playing at Bishop Darcy Stadium. Let me see if I can find it here. From Fort Wayne FC TV. Says 21-6-1 all time at Bishop Darcy Stadium, 15-2-1 in league play. That's a pretty incredible record for any team in their home stadium all time for as long as they've been there. So we've had a good team to watch, and we're going to have an even better team to watch come next season, 2026 in USL 1. Again, season ticket pre-sales. You can get your deposit in starting tomorrow morning for the 2026 season in the new stadium, Fort Wayne FC Park. We've seen some renderings of that. They're out on their website. If you've got questions about what that's going to look like, how to get your funds in, how to get your season tickets reserved, check it out, fortwaynefc.com, and all the information is there. You can watch our show from last week. We had Justin Cohn on, communications director, who gave us a little bit more information about that. So if you're interested in a little bit more info about the stadium and all the season ticket sales and all that goes with this move to USL League One, check out that interview from last week. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Maybe it would have been more fun if Autumn was here. Apparently our audience would have had more fun, but it's always good to do the show with you guys. Have a great night, and we will see you next time here on Fort Wayne Footy.